Coach, big series win against North Carolina State this weekend, a team that was ranked between 8 and 17. What do you think was the key throughout the whole series?
I think the key this weekend has really been the key to what has been allowing us to have success all year, and it's pitching and defense, right? And it's what we've talked about building this around, and the boys do it great all weekend, and we got guys behind them making plays, and then offensively we just kind of talk about kind of keeping the line moving. And so it's nothing. I don't think we did anything crazy this weekend. NC State's a really good ball club. That lineup is pretty impressive, and I think when you look at what that lineup does offensively the rest of the year, you're going to look back at this weekend and think it was even more impressive than it looks now. To be able to hold them to 3 runs on a weekend is insane. Coach Foster and Michael and Jesse and Jake and the bullpen, those guys did an unbelievable job.
Mike shutting down NC State isn't any surprise, but was there a shock to have such an offensive explosion against their Friday night starter? You've seen O'Donnell before, too, so.
Yeah, we've seen him before, and the anytime you score, you always feel like Friday nights in the ACC are going to be 2-1, 3-2. That's always what it feels like. But it was great for us to be able to do that, and not have to go to Justin. Right? You sort of assume if you get a win on Friday night, you're going to need Justin to close it out. It was great, and again, it was a couple of things. It was consistently having good at bats and executing, getting down some bunts when we needed to. They made a couple of errors in that it didn't cost them 7 runs, but it cost them probably 2 or 3. That game probably should have been 4-0, maybe 5, something like that. 4-0 would be my guess, looking back. But all it really was consistently good at bats, and there was a couple. They did make a couple errors, but some of those errors were because of execution, because of having good at bats and kind of putting pressure on a defense.
Sunday, of course, the key was, unconventional but really effective bullpen management. Can you talk us through the whole mindset by putting Justin in the 5th and going through 4 pitchers in the 9th?
I think you could say some effective bullpen management and some not effective. Going to Justin early was what we sort of knew we were going to do. Right? You go in you have an arm like that in your bullpen, and we love him in that closing role because of how good he is in the back end. But when you get to that point on Sunday, we know we're going to go to him right away. You don't want to risk getting down and having that type of arm sitting on your bench or sitting in your bullpen. So we knew we were going to get 2 to 3 out of him, and he was probably going to be our first guy, depending on what happened, and how long Jake went for us. And, if we had mapped it out perfectly, what we were hoping it was Jake for 6 and JD for 3 and get out of there with a W. So going to JD early to get us out of that jam was always kind of part of the plan. And Justin knew that as soon as things started getting a little bit hairy there to get yourself moving. So he did. And he did a great job. And it's for him to go, we knew we were going to go about 50 pitches would be about the limit on him. He didn't quite get there. But he threw the ball great. And he really had to go to pitching to give us that type of length, which was fun to watch because he can do that. And then honestly, I made a mistake going to Donovan, and it's not because Donovan can't do that job. But my sort of number one role is to put our kids in a spot where they can succeed. Donovan is going to be a lot of times our closer when Justin's not available. The reason that was a bad move there was, he had fouled the ball off his foot on Saturday, fouled the ball off the same spot in his foot on Sunday, and then taken a fastball off his shoulder earlier in that game. And honestly, he was just too beat up, and he's such a tough, competitive kid that I asked him how he felt, and he said he wanted the ball. But he's always going to say he wants the ball. That's why we love him. That's why the boys love having him in there. That's why we rally around him. But I shouldn't have gone to him there. So him getting us in that jam was my fault. And luckily we got, we got 3 guys out of the bullpen to come in and bail me out, but more importantly, bail him out. And that's one of the things I think that's so much fun about this ball club right now. Whether it's the bullpen and with the starters or guys in the lineup, they all just talk about picking each other up and taking care of each other and making sure that, somebody's got your back, which is a fun place to be. So Donovan can come out of the game, go back out in the right field and leave feeling great and not leave feeling like he didn't get his job done. And he's going to be in that spot again. You're going to look at the end of the year and he's going to have a bunch of saves. But I just got to be smarter, sort of noticing how beat up he had gotten those last 2 days.
Justin hasn't really blown any games yet, but he's had some shakiness when he's in the one-inning role, but he looked very comfortable going multiple innings, and he's got that starter background. Do you see the multiple innings situation being something for Justin going forward?
Well, it's funny. You say that Justin's been shaky in some of the one-inning roles, but really the times that he's gotten touched up a little bit are in non-save situations, and sometimes this is not just true of college guys, it's true in the big leagues, right? Sometimes closers that come in with big leads, and in those non-save situations, it's just not the same situation for him, right? And a 6-run lead with Justin on the mound can feel like a blowout, and you just pitch differently, and so him getting, those times he got touched up, that's really what it was. And every time, as soon as it got a little bit hairy, he kind of snapped himself back out, went back in and dominated like we know he can. As far as using him in a role, in a bit of extended role, yeah, he's always going to be available for multiple innings. He's not a guy that's only 3-out saves. We will definitely have times where you'll see him 6, 7 outs, 8 outs, depending on the scenario and where we are. And he is so versatile, right? And you can see it, in those one-inning outings. He's been 96, 98. This week, and he backed off a little bit, was 92 to 96 over 3 innings, 3 1/3, I think it was. So he's versatile, and he can do both of those things, which is it's a great luxury to have. And our boys know that and love that we can have that type of confidence with him at the back end in either role.
Have you seen John Nicholas arrive as a really, really strong 8th-inning presence?
Yeah, he's turning into kind of who we always thought he could be. He's confident in that role. He's trusting his stuff. He's executing. And this is true of a lot of young pitchers. Young pitchers will tend to get to throwing instead of pitching, and when they do that, their stuff will get up. Will be up and flat a little bit, and that's who Johnny was a little bit early in his career, and now he looks like a pitcher out there, and he's moving the fastball around and using his off-speed stuff effectively. And he's got confidence in the mound. Our boys have confidence in him, and he did a great job this weekend.
How have you seen Joe Cronin be really successful this week, winning ACC Player of the Week?
Yeah, I think Joey's turning into one of the best players in our conference, and he's. If you get a chance to watch him play, it's really fun watching Joey play baseball right now. He's playing first, playing third. I mean, he really can play all three. Joey can play shortstop in the ACC. He's that type of an athlete and that type of a defender, and he's given us great at bats. I think, he had a little setback last year in his development as far as his numbers, not because he wasn't getting better, but I think there were two things. One, he got caught up trying to hit home runs with Chris Shaw, and kind of got out of doing what it is that he does well. Joe can hit home runs. I mean, if you were at the Beanpot last year and saw him run that ball into the monster seats, he's got legitimate power. But he's best when he's not trying to hit home runs. And then if you make a mistake like Brown did on Saturday, I think it was the 4th or the 5th, when he left a fastball up with 2 strikes and Joey ran that one out. He can do that. But he's just consistently giving us good at bats and good veteran at bats and doing a great job with 2 strikes. And you even see that in a 1-0 ball game, and Mock gets on, and then Joey comes up, and they give us a wild pitch, and Mock gets to second, and the book says there you should probably bunt him to third. And almost with anybody else I would have, but you got Joey walking the plate. He's our best hitter right now. He's our best player. I liked taking a shot with him, either driving him in or moving him over. And he didn't get it done in that situation, but he's going to, more often than not, Joey's going to get this job done for us. So that just shows how much confidence I have in him right now.
What's the key for BC this weekend against Clemson, both in just overall for the team and like a key player you're looking for on the Tigers?
The Honestly, what we're worried about most right now for us is just continuing to keep doing what we do. It's it's fun to talk about coming off a good weekend, and it's fun to talk about showing up in the polls for the first time in program history. But honestly, what we want to be in a spot where that's every weekend, that's every week, that's every postseason, right? So the biggest key for us right now is just going back to work and continue to do what we do and prepare. What we had been talking about was Holy Cross today, right? We're not even worried about Clemson until we get to Clemson. Right now, it's talking about getting ready for Holy Cross. Now this rain's not going to let that happen, which is somewhat ironic that our field looks great and we got a warm start to our spring and our field is in beautiful shape, and now it rains. So that's not gonna happen today. But really, it's the keys for us this weekend are how we started this interview. We're gonna pitch it, we're gonna catch it, and we're gonna have quality at bats. And that's the things that we're sort of most concerned with, going into the weekend. And Clemson's a good club. Everybody knows that. National power, perennial national power, and they're playing great baseball. But right now, kind of our first and foremost focus is what are we doing and continuing to do the things that we are capable of doing and that we have been doing well.